Hello everyone, welcome to a brand new edition of the Triple Trio, our weekly look at the world of racing through the Hong Kong lens with the best form analyst in Hong Kong and Clint Hutchison and the former superstar jockey who is in the Hall of Fame here in Australia and in New Zealand in Hutchi Dye. Hello Hutch.
Hello Richo, yeah, it's with a heavy heart we do the show today, isn't it? It's following the tragedy in Tai Po and Hong Kong. So we're thinking of everyone over there. It's been a horrible incident and just condolences and thoughts and prayers with everyone in Hong Kong.
Yeah, Shane, welcome to you and hopefully all of your loved ones and great mates over there are all okay.
Yeah, I hope they find a lot of people that are missing somehow. It's terrible.
Absolutely tragic. So the death toll's gone past 80. So our thoughts are with everyone over there, and the Hong Kong Jockey Club have released the following statement. And of course, this week's meeting is going to be behind closed doors, and there'll be donations available to support the victims of the Tai Po fire. So the Hong Kong Jockey Club is deeply saddened by the loss of so many lives during the tragic fire. And it's really important to note there that the donation of 100 million Hong Kong dollars through its charities trust to support the victims and the families of the deceased is fantastic. And all gross income, Hutch, from this race meeting, estimated to be around another Hong Kong 70 million will be donated to the cause.
Yeah, big contributors to obviously the community at a whole. And in times like this, it's great to have the club support, and I'm sure they'll continue to do that. On our part, if you personally wanted to also do a bit of donating to help out those affected tragically by these incidents, then click on the QR code and please do so if you can.
Yeah, and if you're able to follow Hutchi with Hutchi's Honkers and you get a profit, then maybe consider donating to this very worthwhile cause. So it's with a heavy heart that we do this show, but the show must go on. We've got a big show coming up because our star power guest is the one and only James McDonald. He would have been absolutely thrilled with the return of that boy in Romantic Warrior. But we're previewing races 7, 8 and 10 for Sunday. Michael Cox will join us as well with all the latest news, best bets, the idol votes and a whole lot more. But let's find some winners on Sunday at Jockeys. Well, we start our preview, Hutch, with race number 7, and how did you see it?
Yeah, good competitive race. I think the latter half of the card really looks quite solid and sagacious. Live JMac on board. I've got him marked a favourite following that audacious win first up. Steps ahead in good form. Got Honlock Golf, I think, with excuses. Pray for Merck and land on speed. It's a competitive race. But Shane, of course, I know you loved the ride from Brittany on this occasion. JMac gets on, and it was a very good win from the import to rally through. The race set up nicely, but not easy to win in Hong Kong first up.
No, not many do, Clint. You're correct. She gave this a beautiful ride, and he just kept coming. And he looks a nice horse. He meets Steps Ahead, the winner, the second horse there on the fence, who's leading, I think, 10 pounds better. And he actually meets most of them about 12 to 14 pounds better. Here he is up at China, trialling over a mile, and he trialled well, Clint.
Yeah, it's interesting because you don't see too many imports from Brazil that go over and do perform well, but he's clearly something a little bit special and not easy to do what he's done. JMac on board, we don't know where the ceiling is. I think there's a definite chance, Shane, with Honlock Golf, that this horse could improve. Was probably close enough to the speed the other day and they didn't go slow, so I'm willing to forgive, and I thought the trial was good work. He's still got upside.
Yeah, well, he's had 2 runs back and he hasn't gone as well as last season, I believe, but he's not going bad. The trial was good. He's got a very good gate and one, and he's going to get a very, very good run in this race, Clint.
Yeah, I think Harry punched him out the gate, so they put him forward. This time around, he'll land in a similar position without doing any work. So I think that Honlock Golf is certainly in the game, and he's too lightly raced not to sort of discard off the back of that last run. He's got more to offer.
What about Sky Heart, Casper Fownes' runner, who's another chance in the race?
Well, this comes through a very high rating race, actually. It was they ran some time here. They ran 138 and change, and And Sky Heart, Shane can roll forward. Soleil Fight is pretty consistent, but Sky Heart, you might argue, probably has a little more upside and probably gets a good run again.
Yeah, well, he'll be forward from gate 3. He's going to get box seat. He's only got 117 pounds. This is his test, I believe, but he's racing well. And of course, he won first up off a break, and he was impressive that day. Here's a trial from Talent's Ambition. His last run was good, Clint. He got back on the grass and he kept coming, just like this trial. I know he's better on the dirt, but he's not going bad.
Yeah, he's had a couple of good runs on the turf that I thought he might be able to do it. I wouldn't be shocked, but I won't be with him. What about Low Rider, Shane? I mean, that win first up was terrific when he settled handy, and then probably an excuse the next time around as well in a race run differently. Did you think Low Rider could bounce back?
I'm not sure. It's not an easy race. He goes all right, but he's still got to lift quite a bit on his last run, I thought.
So let's go through your top 4. Hutchie's numbers are 3, 4, 2 and 1. Shane, how'd you see him?
I'm going steps ahead on top. I don't know whether the other horse can beat him with the 10 pounds, and I thought he should have won last time they met. He just a victim of circumstances. So I've got 4 on top from the 3 and the 2. So more or less the same as Clint, but just reversed.
So Zach Purton on top there for RS Dye. We go to race number 8 here, and it's a sprint over 1,000 metres.
That it is. It's an interesting race because the setup, and a lot of these horses have been competing on occasion over 1,200. Now they go to 1,000. Colourful King's been running well at the Valley. Can he transfer that? Inside draw's not ideal. Magic Control, straight course specialist, 1,000 metres is his best distance at this level. Ladies' Choice is interesting. I've got it marked around $8, and Superb Capitalist Contractor Speed. Shane, I thought this was a tough race. Here's a look at Colourful King. He's ready to win. Both runs back have been great. There'll be plenty of speed. He'll have to work and find the right spot, but I think if he can do that, Zach, he'll be very strong late.
Yeah, well, he's got gate 2, so he's on the inside, which isn't the best, but he's racing very well. He never goes bad. He's got sack on him, so he's got a lot of things in his favour. He's going to be there somewhere. I think he'll just sit off the pace, Clint.
Yeah, does it worry you sort of 1,200 back to 1,000? I think, we've seen him perform well over 1,000 as we see a win from Chateauneuf, who incidentally is also 1,200 back to 1,000.
And that was Zach, but yeah. Zach off now.
Yeah, well, of course, this horse has to go up to Class 2 now, of course. This was a Class 3 win. I don't know whether this horse is a Class 2 horse. He's racing well. He had every chance, got a perfect ride that night to win. Here's your market here, Clint.
Yeah, I think Colourful King will be tough to beat, and I think the lead with Zach is key. He would have stuck with Chateauneuf. What can offset that a touch? Chateauneuf drawn out where he has on towards the outside fence. So he'll be midfield. He has a bit of gate speed. He can run well. Plenty of pace in this race as well. There's a lot of speed in this event. It looks on paper, Shane, which you'd expect. There's a few horses that are 1,000-metre specialists, so it might suit those horses that can probably sit out of that early pressure as well.
It could. There is a lot of pace. Horses like Magic Control coming back to 1,000 suits it, and of course Baby Crystal is suited up the straight also. Here's
Magic Control. JMac on.
Magic Control. Trial well up the straight.
He did.
Oh no, this isn't the trial.
No, this is the race from him, and the thing with Magic Control, back down into this class, he's won 2 of 3, so it's an important drop in class for him. Shane, when he comes back in grade, I don't know what to do with Baby Crystal. I think that Brett Crawford has him going well as we have a look at this trial that you mentioned earlier. But Baby Crystal's a very effective horse down the straight. He went through that purple patch, and here's a look at them both working. But I suppose the class drop's key for Magic Control.
Oh, definitely. And the 1,000 metres, he's not a 1,200-metre horse. That helps him a lot. He always seems to go well up the straight. But I've actually got Baby Crystal on top. I thought he trialled well. He's run time up the straight. He's got an outside gate. I thought he could lead, and it's just a matter whether he hang on. He was very impressive last start over 1,200, whereas first up run over 1,000 was bad. So I've got him on top from Magic Control, Ladies' Choice, and Colourful King. But it's not an easy race, that, Clint.
No, it's not an easy race, and I think you could make a case, Richo, for half a dozen of them. That will be a competitive race. So it'll be interesting to see what the betting does, particularly with Zach going for Colourful King. Yeah. He's not drawn that well, so It'll just be interesting to see how it plays out.
Whereas Shane's selection is drawn well, so drawn out high. So down the straight, the wider barrier, the better.
Outside fence is where you want to be, as we know. It's always a big plus.
Yeah, so we get to race number 10 here. How did you see the lucky last?
Yeah, good race to finish with. I like one in this race. I think Dazzling Fit's going to be hard to beat. He was a victim of circumstances last time. A lot of them are coming through similar form lines. Pope Cody, Six Pack, these horses have been competing against each other. Blazing Wukong was an eye catcher. It doesn't end there. There's a lot of chances. And look, this is Pope Cody last time out. Yunlong Elite missed the start. I just don't know if he's in the best of form at the moment. And of course, Beauty Bolt won the race. Shane, Beauty Bolt won, had the perfect trip. He didn't win by a big margin. I think he'll be in the market again. I'm kind of going to be against him a little bit if he is short, because I just think it sets up better for others. But I suppose he got it done this day.
Yeah, he did. He's got a very good gate 5. He's going to get a good run. But the thing with him that I've got on my ratings and everything, he's improved every start. And he's got to improve again here to win with 135 pounds.
Well, Zach won on Beauty Bolt. He rode Uranus Star last start to victory at the Valley. Tempo was genuine enough. But the format of this race really hasn't worked out that well. And that's what concerns me. And I think he was well ridden by Zach on the occasion. What was your thoughts with Uranus Star?
I got a very soft lead, never got attacked at any stage and kicked. I'm suspect about him, but he will get a good run from gate 1. He'll box seat, I would believe.
So 6 pack for Huey Bowman and the last time that they raced, and that was against Dazzling Fit. And this is back on the 26th of October.
Yeah, this is an important race to sort of analyse because they just didn't go any sort of gallop. They went very slow. In the middle, between the 8 and the 400, 5 lengths slow. Now, Dazzling Fit was locked up, nowhere to go. Zach swept around them on Top Dragon, won the race. And Six Pack was probably disadvantaged as well. Dazzling Fit was well supported here. Clear excuses once again. JMac gets the ride. I don't mind the wide draw, Shane. He can get back. There's more pressure. I think gives the time horse the build, and I think he looks really well placed.
Well, here's his trial from the other day. You've got to remember he's going to a mile for the first time, and I think that can only help him, Clint. He's been looking for a mile, this horse. He trialled well here this day. This was a very nice trial.
And he went into the Sid file, the world-famous Sid file, after that last start performance.
We were with him that day, and I just felt that there were genuine excuses. I've liked his work. He's still a work in progress. He's still learning what it's all about, but I'm just hoping for a bit more tempo, Richo. If he gets it, I think you'll see when he releases what he can do. And as Shane said, the mile looks really good for him.
7, 3, 4 and 12 for Hutch, Golden Boy.
I'm putting Beauty Bolt on top again. I think he'll run well from the gate. From Pope Cody and Dazzling Fit. But all those horses are racing well. I think the roughie in the race is Yunlong Elite from gate 12. The pros will back him for sure. They always do. And Holy Door likes to get them out running, and that's what he needs. If he finds the front, he will give a sight.
James McDonald is about to join us, our Star Power guest. Star Power guest doesn't get any bigger than this, but he's very much a friend of the show in James McDonald, who's been good enough to join us. Mac, so good to see you back in Hong Kong, mate, and by gee, your champion, Romantic Warrior. How good was it be back on him? And he looked as good as you've ever had him.
Yeah, 100%. He was excellent. It was great to have him back. It always puts a spring in your step, and obviously after what was probably a lean couple of days, it was good to jump on him, and yeah, he saluted really well. So it's great to have him back, and he's in good form. So it's all gun blazing for his preparation now.
Yeah, it was an interesting race, James, because they've obviously, I mean, it was a little bit up in the air where the pace might come from, but you know, you put him in the spot. Were you surprised, or did you feel how slow they were going, and what was your thought process through the race?
Yeah, well, probably knew that before the race, Hutch, in terms of it didn't look very quick on paper, but like I said to Danny and Peter before the race, the slower they go, they can't beat them. Like, no matter how the races run, they can't beat them. But if it was slowly run, they definitely can't beat this horse off a standing start. Like someone said to me the other day, he's got 6 furlong speed, you know. So, and that's not how Boy's Bubble. He's a bit of a roller. So off a toss for the coin, he was always going to always win. And it was, you know what, it was really good to have a soft run with him. You know, like it wasn't a gut bust. It was basically 10 home 2, and he's breezed out of the run really well from what Danny said last night. And yeah, he's in good form. I think it was the perfect prep run.
So yeah, I was going to ask you about that. So from that perspective, some people like them to have maybe a bit more of a test leading into a big one, but for him at this stage of his career, this stage of his preparation, what Danny's done, you think that's the ideal sort of run going to December?
Yeah, 100%. And as probably Dicey will allude to, his weight was pretty up to the mark, you know. So he's only have to tick over now, even though he will improve with fitness. He looks phenomenal. The best I've ever seen him look first up anyway. And so, yeah, it's a good indication. Whether they kept the weight off him just for the injury, I'm not sure. But he was well up to the mark. He looked great and performed exceptionally well. So, yeah, I think it's only bodes well for the Hong Kong Cup.
And
James, I want to ask you a question. I've ridden horses before and after operations, and you know how they feel. You've ridden him for so long. He's been so impressive, and he was very impressive last weekend. Did he actually give you a better feel than before, or was he exactly the same, or how did he feel, better or not? Because some horses can change after operations.
Yeah, it's a good question. I suppose he definitely feels probably better than he did last prep. That's for sure, without saying. He was very worked up in those 2 runs in Dubai. So there was always an underlining issue with him, and Danny sort of knew, and even though it definitely wasn't bad, and he was performing at such a high level, his characteristics weren't the normal romantic warrior, and he's definitely
he was telling you something.
He wasn't working as good as what he's been working lately. Like his work's been A1, and he put that into a performance there where everyone could see. But he was working. He's always a good worker. He's an exceptional racehorse. But in terms of movement, he definitely wasn't a movement as good as he is now in Dubai, Saudi, and Dubai.
James, there's been a lot of riders try and get Galaxy Patch home in the last 18 months. They haven't managed to do it. You jumped on there on the weekend and bang, got the win. Tell us about this performance.
Yeah, it was pretty good. He's a quirky horse, and I don't know. Look, I've always been an admirer of him, and always wanted to have a ride on him because he's had some exceptional performances. Even you guys would take note of probably one of his mile international runs where he was exceptional from well back, but he just doesn't help himself at all. Like, he's very timid horse, a little bit gassy, slow out of the gates, and he's got all the work to do in front of him, you know. So he doesn't help himself. But look, we got all the breaks, even though he got put up the fence at the 600. It wasn't even that tight a run for him to really balk at. So yeah, he is a funny horse, but he put in a really good performance. I think he has to improve a little bit more to win that big one on 2 weeks Sunday, but he's probably got it in him. He'll be third up. If he gets a bit of room, he might explode even more with a bit of confidence under his belt.
Yeah, and I suppose it was a race that was run along at a pretty good tempo, so it set up well for you on this occasion as well, and you took the shortest way home.
Yeah, you're spot on. Yeah, he's spot on. It was set up well for him, and obviously he makes similar contenders, throwing Voyage Bubble, throwing Soul Rush. So he's going to have to lift it a little bit more, but you never know what a win can do to a horse's confidence, and he might have got a bit out of that.
Yeah, so hopefully he'll bounce out of that and continue to fulfil the promise we've always thought with him. You got an opportunity to have a look at the backside again of HKIR Rising, mate. You must be getting sick of that.
Yeah, no, we're getting used to it, but it's just a common theme. But yeah, he was phenomenal on the weekend. Honestly, I could not believe how good he went and how good he looked and how good he acted behind the gates. It's the best I've ever seen him, and you've probably spoken to Zach about it. But yeah, he was awesome.
Hey,
I actually thought I was half a sniff for one stride, and then he was gone.
I was gonna say, James, you tracked into the race really nicely on the turn. Hey, just outside of him though, as amazing his performance, well, Fast Network's run well, and he's cleared out from some of the others, so he's going all right in his own right.
Well, exactly right, Hutch. Like he's probably a little up and comer. He's at the right age of 5 years old. Like he's a big, strong gelding, and look, he's definitely no match for the winner, and never will be. But he can definitely pinch prize money and be very good at that. But yeah, he's a solid
I think
performer.
he's like us, a Kiwi. We quinelled it, mate. Us Kiwis, we run 1 and 2nd, first and second. Kaying Rising, Fast Network, another Kiwi sprinter.
Yeah,
just like us, mate.
What else they've got? Do you know what else they've got in common between me and you? They're both poorly bred. They're not by fashion size. Bad pedigrees.
That's magnificent.
That is the best. That is so disappointing to your beautiful mum, though, JMac. I'm going to take you. I'm not going to disagree with Dicey, but that's disappointing to Di.
Cut that out.
Wow.
Cut that bit. Cut that bit.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Oh, that is too good. And Fast Network, like all good Kiwis, is not living in New Zealand.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. Hey, Golden Boy, take JMac through his rides on Sunday, if you don't mind. I'm interested to hear you guys to start chatting away, please. Let's start with Dazzling Fit, maybe.
Dazzling Fit. Well, he's a nice horse. You got to go the mile. I'll just get it up here. He's got a bad gait, 14, but he might be running midfield. Normally that seed track plays on pace. Whether it does on Sunday is debatable, but normally it does. So that's a little bit of a worry for him. Doesn't seem, Yang Long Elite will go along. He'll be midfield. He's got a very good chance, James. Nice horse. Magic Control's got a good chance. He's got a good gait. He'll be up there somewhere. He can win. Race 7, you can win that. Has a very good gait. Clint's got it on top. And from gate 4, probably might race a little bit closer than the other day, I feel, from there.
Hope you're right.
So, and Old Town's definitely... Old Town can win. He ran well the other day. I see James. What's the name? Zach's not on him, so he must be riding something he thinks can win. Smart Fat Cat.
I got him. Well last. I got under him.
Oh, did you?
You got under him? I find that very hard to believe.
Yeah, no, I wish.
No, you got good rides. You got lots of chances.
James,
Even Blazing Win from gate 1.
Just on, you obviously rode Galaxy Patch for Pierre, and Sagacious Life's a really interesting runner because it won well first up. Is there any sort of feedback from Pierre, and we'll take a look at this horse again in a recent piece of work?
Yeah, well, if we were talking a couple of hours later, I'm going to have a sit on him this morning for the first time. But he's caught my eye. I was actually booked for another one in the race, but ended up on this horse. But very, very taken by his first up win. Apparently, it's very hard to do. And even though he had a light weight, he's going to go up a fair bit in weight. He beat a classy field, so he could hopefully only improve off that. He's had a nice tick-over trial, which was pleasant. So, yeah. Well,
JMac, Shane, I'm sure would like telling you that he used to like riding work, and he rode a lot of it. So you mentioned you were riding work in a couple of hours. What have you ridden anything work this week that you're riding on the weekend that you do like?
Oh,
Dazzling Fit's the one, probably out of, obviously a horror draw, but he is working really well. He's come on since, so Dave's got a big opinion of the horse, and I'm sure he'll live up to it. I think the mile suit him perfectly.
Yeah, well, that's a good lead. So seemed to go well on this trial as well, Shane.
James, one quick question: the Vars. What do you ride in the Vars?
I ride Bundle Award for John Size. Ooh. So he was pretty good from back in the field. Yeah. Obviously, it's the toughest race for obviously the Hong Kong horses, but he's won at the trip before here, course and distance. So you never know. I rode in Sued in it last year, probably lacks a bit of class, but he still soldiered on to run third against those high quality. They're hard to beat, the Hong Kong horses here, and as you guys know, I don't need to say that. Yeah. But, he's a good ride, I think. I reckon he's probably a little bit better.
Yeah, and broke 11 for the last 200. Yeah. So
he's got a good turn of foot.
Thank you.
A bit like yourself, Richo's good.
Well, we don't have enough time to go through all of that.
He stays.
He's better bred. Richo's bred. Clint, Richo's better bred than us Kiwis.
Fair enough, too.
My mum's 4 foot
There
10.
in 2 rack, isn't he? Dies, he's sipping on his lattes.
Yeah.
I'm going to cut off you guys. Mac, we simply love you, mate. Thanks for taking some time.
Thank you.
You've
cheers.
no doubt got a lot of very busy
Enjoy it.
morning,
Appreciate
mate. Hey, we'll see you in a couple of weeks' time.
You guys are legends. See you guys.
There he is, the one
luck.
and only James McDonald. Always magnificent. Let's find some future winners. Let's find some future winners with HUTCHI'S form files, and we start with Sweet in Defeat. Who jumps in the world famous file?
There were some great runs over the past week. I had to sort of narrow it down, so I'm hoping these are 3 quality picks going forward. Now, the first one we'll have a look at. Robot Lucky Star was beaten by the barrier here. We often say it, and it happens at the Valley a lot. It wasn't a massive disadvantage covering ground this night at the Valley. I think probably the fence, if anything, wasn't massively good in the straight, but you could cover ground the night. But you can see here, Zach, I think he comes out with the intent to probably be a little bit handier. Then he realises, oh, I'm going to be wide. He wants to get in and get a little bit of cover. So he has to concede a fair amount of ground. The tempo of the race wasn't as strong, I think, as many would have expected. So you can see here, Shane, he's come back another length or 2, and it just did not work out for him. He finally finds a bit of cover. Then he asks him for an effort. Tell you what, it was some run to get up and get as close as he did late.
Yeah, if he'd gone forward on him, he probably would have been weak at the end. He couldn't have got in unless he kept pressing forward. So I don't blame him for the ride. There was nothing wrong in my books. He was a victim of circumstance. But he looks a nice horse. All of his runs have been good, and he's very consistent. When he draws a gate, he's going to box seat or lead, and he's going to be very hard to beat, Clint.
He just jumped out of the ground late.
Yeah, and you know what? It was similar to his other run at the Valley as well. Like, he had no luck. He's drawn awkward barriers. If he draws a barrier, I actually said on Hutchie's Honkers on our website for that race, I would have marked him a clear favourite had he drawn a gate.
Yeah.
And, watch that race thinking, well, if he drew a gate, and if he does that in the near future, he'll be winning there for sure. Nick's Gluck. Every time I say that, I want to say Nick Luck.
Yeah, I know, I do.
It's very, very, it's a real tongue twister.
Nick's Gluck.
Yes.
I've got no trouble saying it.
No, you've always been our linguist amongst the group.
If you need help with pronunciation, just ask me, boys.
Let alone pronunciations.
Yeah. Oh, get in there.
And Jubilant Star. Hey, make note as well, because I know there's a lot of people that follow the Sweet in Defeat file. 4 Sweet in Defeat file runners this Sunday. People are saying to me, keep reminding us.
Yes.
So Sky Vino, Dazzling Fit, Cap Liner and Gloria Star are all running on Sunday.
Yeah, maybe we'll have a little caption come up going forward. That's a good idea.
Hey,
Let's
I'm an
do that.
ideas guy.
You are an ideas guy.
Don't worry about
I
that.
knew he was that smart, Shane. I can't believe it.
No. Mate, those guys with bald heads, you got to watch them. They're smarter than you think, Clint. I'm telling you now.
That's right. It doesn't grow on a busy highway, I can assure you, my friend. Now, K-Ing Rising, how did you view his incredible performance?
Oh, it was just amazing. We'll talk about the numbers in a moment, but visually, let's just say that it lived up, Shane, to expectations. I thought he might sort of improve off his Everest run, where he seemed to just be a little bit below what he's capable of, and they were talking how well he looked and how well he done. And he's down from the 125 metre mark and nearly matched his own record on the track. Unbelievable.
Oh, well, we all knew he wasn't riding Australia. You could see that in his trial before the race and everything. He's back. He was awesome. That's one of his best wins. He's got stronger. He's got better. He's just a champion. Simple as that.
You've nearly got him as his peak.
Yeah, it was nearly a peak performance from him. And you have to view it as it probably it was. I mean, given how well he was eased down there. I think
Did he go too well?
No, I don't think he did, because you know what? When I think back now, it's like he was probably... he's a little bit below where they may have wanted him for the Everest. I think he ran well, so I was expecting him to improve effectively second up almost going into that race. Third up in another 3 weeks. Look out. I mean, it'll be times and margins all going well. Don't want to mock anything, but he'll break the record, Shane, if the track's playing evenly or okay. he'll break the record that day if he releases the brakes on him all the way to the line, Zach.
My worry is for the international. Look, he's a champion. He's the best horse by 100 yards. His worst run in history was the international last year, and I've always kept that in the back of my mind because it's funny how horses can repeat. He wins no matter what. There's no doubt about that. But does he do what he did last year in the international, or does he keep improving like he has in that run since he's come back from Australia? It's actually very interesting.
I think one of the interesting points surrounding that was it was a slightly different sort of run into it? Yeah.
It was like an end of prep run.
I think he'd had one more run going into that last year, hadn't he? And it was a slightly different, even from a track work point of view, I think, where he was stationed, etc. So, no, I think he'll go. I think he'll rise again. I think he'll, like I said, I think you'll see the real deal there on the big day.
So that was the top-rated performance. The sectional star, who jumps into that fight? I mean, you got a lot to choose from.
Well, the sectional star... this race was a bit of a joke, but Bundle Awards, I mean, they absolutely crawled at this. This was effectively I don't even know if it was a 600-metre race. It was more like a 400-metre race, to be honest, from a tempo point of view. But it was a great race because, the two quality horses stood up, and more so Romantic Warrior, what a training performance. We'll talk more about that in a moment. But Bundle Award, he broke 11 seconds, which all of the horses in this race, in fact, it wasn't a surprise that some of the sectionals in this race outdid the sprint even because they went so slow, Shane. So it was a bit of a farcically run race, the right result still, but they absolutely crawled, and it was, it was, from a sectional point of view, Bundle Award was all right there.
Huge.
He was fantastic. He ran well, and of course he'll go for the 2,400-metre race. I've got no doubt. That was a very good move by James there at the 600 to go forward because the pace had been so slow. And as a jockey, he would be realising Voyage Bubble's getting a soft lead. So before Voyage Bubble could quicken, he put his horse there beside him at the 600 metres, and that was why.
I want to talk about the numbers as well, Richo, because just to give a bit of a graphic illustration on what transpired here. So they've gone, and this is after adjusting for track speed.
Now, this is the Cup, the 2000. This is Romantic Warriors race?
This is Romantic Warriors race. So they've gone 29 lengths slow up until the 800. They've basically gone on standard from there on in, and they've dashed home 8 lengths faster the final 400 metres. So it was literally just a sprint home overall last 400, 21.8. I mean, that is absolutely flying, these quality horses. But it was a very sedate tempo in that event.
How do you compare this to the mile?
Well, this is very interesting because I know many or some may have been disappointed in My Wish. My Wish's run was enormous, I think. They've gone 13 lengths fast to the 800.
Wow,
He's been part of that. The exact opposite. And he was close enough. Many might look at the race and say he's had his chance. I disagree. I think being close to that speed was very good. And you see the other three that are in the top 4 positions at the end of the race. They're all back in the field. They've slowed down mid-race. They've come home very slow. I think he ran extremely well, My Wish. I don't think there'll be that much pressure next month. He can take a position. Don't be disappointed in My Wish. I personally, Shane, think there was a genuine excuse for him.
Well, I said 300 metres after the race, he can't win. He was travelling too hard in a fast race. When I look at a race, I go, yeah, that'll win, that can't, after 300 metres. And it's normally pretty true. And he was never going to quicken the last furlong.
Why do you think he was keen, Shane? Why do you think he was so keen?
Well, he hadn't had a run for 5 weeks, and just reading what Mark said, maybe it was too long. And he said he doesn't believe he'll pull again in International Day. He's never done it like that before, but he can't do that International Day and get away with it. Plus, they went pretty quick early, and he should have relaxed better, but he didn't. So, when you're travelling that hard in a fast run race, you can't put 2 lengths on him like he normally does. It's impossible for a horse. So would I be worried about it? Not really. I wouldn't be. I think he'll relax. He just wants a good gate. That's what he wants come International Day.
Hey, idle time with the Golden Boy. Hong Kong jockeys, time for you to sit up and take notice and get the pen out because the Golden Boy has his idle votes in. Shane, who caught your eye as a good ride during the week?
Well, we're going to look at Galaxy Patch. We've seen him, so I'm going to go Winning Wing. I thought this was good. He had gate one the other day, drew wide, and I was worried he'd get too far back, but he gave him a bit of a push. Remember last time he was 5 lengths last on him, and he come from an impossible position, about 15 lengths. So I thought it was very good. He just had him closer, and he put him into the race, and that's what actually won the race. This horse keeps going up. I had him 90 last year when he was 60, this horse, and he disappointed me a bit, but he's really come good this season. And he did nothing wrong on him,
Dylan
of
Moe.
course. Dylan Moe, yeah. And for a kid who doesn't get many rides, he's given this the perfect ride. He stays on the fence here, but he comes out at the right time and he quickens like a nice horse to win. So well done, Dylan. But it was a complete reverse from the ride the start before when he won over 2,000 metres. And what I'm trying to say is, sometimes each race is different and you've got to ride your horse accordingly, not the same. And he changed for this race from the race before. And a lot of jockeys don't, like you see a horse get back at Happy Valley, take off down the back and win, and the next start they try and do the same. And it doesn't, but it's not the right circumstance. This was a different race, different circumstance, and Dylan did everything perfect to get him home, Clint.
Yeah, he's had a great association with the horse, you're right, Shay. Gee, it was a lot going on in that race. There was a heck of a lot going on. There was an early move down the back and he bided his time. So I like the fact he didn't sort of,
Kept his nerve.
call into it. And then we actually had a little play on Agenda who wanted to hang in the straight, and Holly was having awful trouble trying to keep it straight as well.
Yeah,
ride it out effectively.
Yeah, well, she didn't even ride it out, did she? She just sat on it, but
Yeah.
it kept making ground under its own steam, but then she was having trouble steering it, so I don't know what was
Disappointing,
going on
but
there. Hey, the votes are in. This one's not from Adelaide. He's originally from New Zealand.
No, we're claiming him now.
But he calls Sydney home.
He's not a Kiwi anymore, he's an Aussie.
James McDonald gets the 3, Golden Boy.
It was a good ride, but he had 5 winners over the 2 meetings and just rode a lot of horses perfectly. He was he wasn't off the first 2 meetings, but he didn't ride a winner for 3 meetings. So he's come right, James. His timing is perfect. Dylan Moe gets 2, and Lyle Hewitson, who I gave a bit of a pay last week to over a ride, he gets 1. He rode that horse perfect. It only just won by a head, but he rated it absolutely perfect the whole way to win, so he gets a point.
You can't keep a good man down. JMac is back, and he was back strong the last 2 meetings. I tell you what, when I watched him punch one home on Wednesday, I thought, it's good to have him in the zone.
That's right. What about in the first race? A massive price there that he hits the line, so the one and only JMac is in good touch. We're going to look at the global racing on the other side of this, including the fields for the International. Well, global racing, all eyes on Hong Kong in a couple of weeks' time for the great week of world racing, the unofficial World Championships. And let's have a look firstly at the Vase field, because this is where the Europeans really get a chance to flex their muscle.
This would be the best lineup in the Vase that I think we've seen in a long time. Our Riffer we saw in Australia, of course, and he ran well here too. He'll run well. Giavolotto, last year's winner. Goliath needs no mention. Sosi, of course, another one who's got great form, and Andre Fabre, one of the world's great trainers, brings that horse. So it is stacked. Shane, I know you keep an eye on the internationals, but tell you what, this performance last year from Giavolotto, who's since run 4th in an arc as well on wet ground, which he doesn't like. This was some sort of performance in any race after getting flattened at the top of the straight and winning as well as he did. So he's the benchmark, and he'll take some beating. Great to see him back.
And I see Dubai Honours running second here, of course. He's there again, He seems to back up every year. No, it looks a good field, doesn't it? But it looks a field that there's quite a few in form, Clint.
Yeah.
That's the good thing about it from overseas.
A couple of them have targeted the race.
That's right.
Specifically. And sometimes you get that, we're going to Hong Kong maybe at the end of a long season, but there's a lot of runners in that Vase. Like, it's stacked. You could sort of go down to 4th, 5th, 6th pick and be a genuine chance.
The sprint, well, it's about the guy at the top, isn't it? HKIR Rising. He's going to scare most of the internationals away. That there will be some entrants from Japan, though.
Yeah, there will be some international entrants, but That said, the runner-up, Satono Rev place getter from last year, he'll be back. Bakaying rising, good to see him here. And Helios ran well the other day. I think the key with the sprint is Shane, there's not much between there's Ka Ying and then second through sixth, there's probably a length that'll get down to barriers, who gets the right run on the day and that type of thing.
That's what it depends on, the barriers. You look at Fast Network last start, he ran second because of a good gate. The start before, he had a bad gate, he come fifth because he had to go back from there. So all it is gates, and that's what runs second or third normally, and that behind Ka Ying Rising.
So we get to the mile, and this will be a really open race.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. Soul Rush, of course, has taken a big scalp overseas from one of the Hong Kong runners, and I thought he ran very well in his lead-up run behind Jantar Mantar in a key lead-up. But Hong Kong have got an incredible record over the mile.
Yeah, they do.
And they dominate once again.
So, I mean, Voyage Bubble's going to be the fascinating runner, isn't it?
Well, look, they've switched focus. I mean, whereas, we had My Wish, Sunlight Power, of course, happy together there. Last year's winner's back now. He's running in the mile.
Yeah.
They've figured out, Ricky, you probably said, look, we can't beat Romantic Warrior. Let's come back here. But one of the more interesting runners, Embroidery, and this is a nice performance. Just looking at the figures, of course, Joe Moreira rode on this race as well.
So this is the Japan 1,000 Guineas.
Yes, a progressive type all the same. So an interesting runner, but look, I tell you what, the homegrown gallopers are still going to take a lot of beating, particularly with the bubble back to the mile.
Yeah, that's always your philosophy in regards to the mile, isn't it? You've got to be an elite miler worldwide to be able to take on the Hong Kong horses in this mile.
Yeah, and they'll dominate the betting once again. Shane, quick thoughts on the mile at this stage, or too early to tell?
I think a lot depends on the barriers. I think still My Wish is the horse to beat. I think Galaxy Patch is going good, but he's not going as well as he was last year when he was getting beat. I'm telling you that now. He was flying last year, and he should have won last year. He's got a chance, and his win the other day was good, and James is on him, of course. But at this stage, if My Wish draws a gate, I want to be on him.
And then when we get to the Cup, and, well, the superstar that is Romantic Warrior is back in a big way. And you could imagine in a couple of weeks' time, surely he'll only be better.
Well, exactly. His second up runs are where he peaks. His second up runs where he just elevates. So, that's why there was plenty of swagger with Danny Schum after the race. This is an interesting runner, however, Bellagio Opera and Lord Del Rey. I think I had a look at some of these. I mean, there's other form references here from various races where you could see this horse roll forward and can take up a position. So, I think still needs to find a couple of lengths on what I've seen and in terms of the numbers as well. But progressive horse and, could still run a big race depending if they get the right run on the day. And
Calandagan, of course, is running in the Japan Cup. Yes. So if it comes through that race well...
They will not be.
They won't be.
It doesn't sound like
they're not as confident.
It's a bit of a safety net for them, I think.
Okay.
But look, a big name all the same.
Yeah, I would have thought so. Would have been great to have them back up, but it's a very hard double, isn't it? From an IJC point of view on the Wednesday night, it came down to the last meeting to be able to secure these last two spots, and Huey Bowman came from the clouds, and then Vincent Ho was able to hold on over Jerry Chow.
Yeah, well done to both gentlemen. Huey Bowman got up on a long price winner. Vincent won the last couple. This is all cash winning for Danny, and Hugh did a great job. It's good to see Hugh riding there, of course, with his position now on the table, and good to see it. I suppose a couple of the young guns coming through, Shane, looked like there'd be a chance, and the old boys said, not yet. You're not ready just quite yet. We'll have another crack this year, thank you.
Okay, so the funny thing about that was he had 5 rides. The first 3 got beat by a nose, and they looked like winning in a driving finish and could have won and ran second. He gets his worst ride of the night, the last race where he's thinking, it might place, and it wins. You never know. Here's Vincent winning on King Miles, of course. Here's another close finish. Look at this.
Yeah.
Geez, there was some close finishes on Wednesday night.
It was incredible how even they're all rated, isn't it? It just comes down to barrier and rides.
Yeah.
That's why it's such a great test, Hong Kong racing, for the jockeys, isn't it?
And for the punters sometimes. But that's why
There's a few on the floor.
That race, we didn't actually play in that race because it did look really
Nor did
good
I.
on paper. But the actual horse... The runner-up was the one who looked like he won. Was one of the couple of plays I was considering.
Okay, so make note to self: don't bet in the races that Hutch tells you not to. Okay.
Yeah. Now here's the jockeys ranking. Of course, Zach on top with 39. Huey, Bowman, Zach's. There's a lot of jockeys in Hong Kong at the moment, so even Zach's sort of had a quieter time the last few meetings. So Hugh's there, Vincent there. I've got to say though, I want to give a special mention to Jerry Chow because. He is riding really, really well. I feel a bit gutted for him in a way, and he won't get his chance this year. But if he keeps riding like he has been, Shane, I think it won't be too long before Jerry will be in there competing with some of the big names.
I think he started the season in Korea, didn't he, or wherever it was, Seoul or wherever, and he won the sprint and run second in the mile over there on Qinghai Glory. And I gave him 3 points because he was thinking in both races and he rode them really well. And he's continued that. He's going really well. He's riding very well. And I think he's right up on the idol.
He'll get his opportunity into the future. One of the great races worldwide every year is the time-honoured Japan Cup. As we look at the field there, so light on international raiders, but high on quality.
Yeah, I mean, this is the first time in a long time that we've got a quality, and we couldn't have a higher quality European entrant into this race. Calandigan with the team and Mikhail Barcelona riding. I mean, this is a horse that couldn't run in the Arc, Shane, because he's a gelding, but he's regarded as the best horse in Europe over 1.5 miles. And they're happy to go, and it's good to see them have a crack as well.
Yeah, well, he's very consistent, isn't he? He never goes bad. He's big, he's strong, and he just keeps coming.
And the beauty of him is he handles rain-affected ground. Now, the ground that won't be rain-affected in Japan, so it'll be nice and firm. Whether he's still going to be as effective on a firmer track's going to be interesting.
Yeah, I think he seems to handle most ground. I don't think if that's an excuse, then well, bad luck.
Yeah, that's right. We know what you're getting, don't you?
Yeah. But, you know, some of the locals, the advantage for him is there's no superstar as far as Japan's concerned. Like, it's a good bunch without being any, you know, you haven't got an Equinox or anything of that ilk at the moment.
What we tend to find in Japan Cup is the superstar emerges out of it, doesn't it?
That's true.
You just never know.
But, you know, he was defeated, you know, by a couple of rivals in Dubai earlier in the year. So it'll be a great race no matter what.
And Tastierra's there, who, of course, we know from a Hong Kong point of view at the international meetings in the past, and also, of course, travelled around the world. And Damien Lane is taking the ride. So looking forward to that. That's going to be fantastic on Sunday. Social Stable. After the great success of last week, we've phoned a friend again this week for Social Stable, and Michael Cox rejoins us again. Ratings were so high last week, Coxie, so we had to have you back, mate. Welcome back to the show, but unfortunately we join you in Hong Kong in really, really tough circumstances, mate. Our thoughts are with everyone over there. How is it?
Yeah, it's a tough time. Hong Kong might look like a big city, 7.5 million people, but people live close together. It's incredibly connected, family central. So it's a tragedy that it hits very hard. Tai Po is right near Sha Tin Racecourse, so it's an area familiar to the Hong Kong racing community as well. So the mood's somber, and I think the city will be in a period of grief for a little while yet.
Well, our thoughts with absolutely everyone who is involved or not involved, but most importantly, hopefully we'll raise a lot of money this weekend to help those that really need it, Mike. That's what's most important. Can we turn our attention to the international meeting? Calandigan runs in the Japan Cup. Are we expecting a backup?
Well, Idle Horse reporter Shuhei Iwabo was at the press conference on Thursday morning in Tokyo, and Francis Graffard confirming he will not take his place in the Hong Kong international races in the Cup. He said, basically indicated that the entry in the Cup was simply a contingency, a backup safety net if something had gone wrong in the lead up to the Japan Cup. He would have loved to have taken on Romantic Warrior, he said, but not this year. He'll still have a couple of runners at HKIR, Goliath in the Vase and Kwisi Sasa in the Cup, but no Calandigan for this year.
Yeah, that's a shame, but maybe another year as well, and be interesting to see how he fares, Michael. From a jockey's bookings point of view, now this is very important. What news have you got for us with regard to those bookings in the HKIR?
Well, firstly, we can say that Joe Moreira, he'll ride at the International Jockeys Championship, but he will not ride on International Day. He'll head back to South America for a Group 1 commitment there. The ones that are unknown, a lot of the big names are already taken and we know who they are. We've seen Damian Lane hook up with some Japanese horses previously, and he'll be on an interesting one that you mentioned just before, Lord Del Rey in the Cup. Coming off a run-on performance in a 2,200 metre race in Japan, he's got a really strong 2,000 metre or less record. Comes back to that trip. Of course, Damian Lane won the Vase on Win Maryland in 2022. Be looking to succeed with Japan again.
Right. Any update on Brittany Wong, who had the little barrier incident?
Yeah, I spoke to Brittany yesterday. Had a really scary incident in the gates, horse flipping and pinning a leg against a stanchion, broke her lower leg, right leg. The timeline we were given was 6 to 8 weeks. She's actually had to have surgery on that leg. She's positive, recovering well. No real timeline on the recovery. That 8 weeks remains the hope. Really bad news for Brittany. She was riding well, had qualified at Happy Valley and hitting on a strike rate at just under 10%. But she's a great positive influence, still has a smile on her face, and the road to recovery begins now. Yeah,
fingers crossed for Brittany. After the international meeting, suddenly all the eyes will turn and the attention will turn to the 4-year-olds. Now we know that Bulb General's unfortunately injured. What about Sky Jewellery?
Yeah, Sky Jewellery was last year's champion Griffin, and John Si's trained horse with 3 wins last season came into this campaign as probably one of the early 4-year-old series picks, but unfortunately he has bled in a trial last week, and that's a mandatory 3-month stand down. So he's been shipped to Chungfa for some R&R and is out of the series. And suddenly the Derby class of 2026 looks pretty open.
Well, talking of that, Michael, I mean, we've got Beauty Bolt. Zach's had a bit to do with that. Invincible Ibis as well. Is there any leads regarding which way the champion jockey might go?
Well, I spoke to Zach yesterday. Beauty Bolt, one of the leading chances in a Class 3, 1600 on Sunday here. His take on him was honest and consistent was the line there, but probably a sprinter in the future. Obviously, you get his chance anytime a horse has got a rating and can get to 1600, you'll find them in the Classic Mile. But Invincible Ibis is the one that he's excited about, a winner from last week. Still a little bit field shy. Doesn't like to be inside of horses, but once he finds his rhythm and builds, he really hit the line strongly last week. Zach said his last 100 metres were the best of his race. He steps up to 1,600 metres on December 20, and Zach thinks he'll handle that. He's the progressive horse that's putting some wins next to his name, but pretty unassuming horse, but maybe would he be Classic Mile favourite right now? I'm not sure, but Zach pretty bullish on his hopes. And
Dave Eustace got a couple of high-profile Europeans arriving as well, so that's good news. And also, I see from an idle horse point of view, an interesting story coming up on a talented jockey in Hong Kong.
Yeah, French jockey Maxime Guyon. Hutchi, you remember his stint from back in 2010. He rode 15 winners in that winter as a 21-year-old prodigy. Well, he returns for a 3-month stint starting on Sunday. And, you know, with really wanting to make this an annual trip, told Idle Horse that he thinks he's come back a better jockey. I think that's obvious with 3,000 wins to his name and 4 French championships. But, you know, a hungry, competitive jockey, hoping to find another ambitious dragon that takes him to the Derby. He rides Sosi in the Hong Kong bars as well.
Coxie, love your work, mate, and terrific memo. You got the memo in regards to the black shirt with the beautiful red horse, mate. Well played.
Thanks, guys.
It's Michael Cox from Idle Horse. Our best bets. Best bets time. Hutch, lead us away, mate.
Yep, like the meeting on the weekend. I think the latter half of the card is the key once again. I think we'll get the main bulk of it later in the day. Dazzling Fit. I want to take a few Quinellas in that race. I think there's a number of chances. Hopefully there's some value with the 3, 4 and 12, 7 banker as far as that is concerned. And outside of that, like Alpha Strike, I think there's only one to beat, of course. We'll take the single Quinella as well in that race, but he looks a nice horse, Alpha Strike.
Who do you like, Golden Boy?
Oh, this is a bit of a quiz for everyone. I'm going to go race 3, number 10, Robot Knight. But there's a but. You got to check his body weight. First up, he ran 19 lengths last, but he was 70 pounds overweight. So check his body weight. If he's lost that weight, he'll run well. Trialled well the other day. Shouldn't be favourite this time, but he's got to lose weight, Richo.
Okay, so race 3, number 10, as long as he's been to Jenny Craig.
Got to lose weight. I know the feeling.
He's got to trim up a touch. That is our look at all things Hong Kong racing. I hope you enjoyed the show. See you next week.